So you see Broken Arrow and say to yourself, I'm going to play this game because when World War III hits in a week or two, I can say, I have commanding abilities, please don't send me to frontline infantry. Not so fast though, the game has some problems. Let's jump right into the review. Oh hey, while I have you, like and subscribe. If you do, I'll make sure you'll be assigned to the Goblin Special Forces. Special as in, never mind. Okay, so right off the bat, the game has a ton of units. Even though for now it's just USA versus Russia, yes, I know, very played out, but we have 300 plus units available, meaning you can really create every single possible deck for you to try and rule over the battlefield. Well, almost every deck. There's a big thing missing, like electronic warfare beasts like EA-18 Growler are not present, but there's some nice surprises like Su-57s, which in reality is more of a theoretical airplane, and the B-2 bombers of the USA. The deck creation is very easy, you choose your nation and up to 2 specializations and go from there. You can mix and match to your heart's content, and not only that, there's also different loadouts to try out, so the specialization of the units is there, and maybe your opponent's T-15 or F-22 is different from yours. Now, let's be clear, this game has been made primarily with PvP in mind, so take that into account when deciding whether to get the game or not, but let's talk about PvE or single player for just a little bit. It's there, yes, but it's as of now very bare bones, especially if you like to play alone. On paper, it seems there's a lot to do because you have the campaign, scenarios, and you can make scenarios up yourself too. And of course we also have skirmish. Let's start off with the campaign. First off, the difficulty, no matter your choice, is all over the place, but mostly really hard, and there's a good reason for that. First tutorial mission is okay, it shows you the ropes and what you can do and should do to some degree, but leaves some important things out. And then, well, you're just thrown into absolute hell, as one is in war, right? I believe campaign should serve as an intro to online play in this kind of games because that's what the game is focusing on, and it should teach you on how to mix and match and maybe some tactical choices and so on. Sadly, Broken Arrow campaign fails on that front, and I believe a lot of players who buy the game just for single player will quit in frustration. Not because of difficulty itself, but mostly because the feature is missing, which in this day and age is inexcusable. You can't save your game. I'm not joking. There's absolutely no saving in the middle of the mission. If your girlfriend wait, that's a bad example because none of us have a girlfriend. If your dog is on the verge of doing Amber Heard on your bed and you have to take a long break and give your computer a slight break, well, too bad. If you quit, you have to start from the beginning of the mission. Why? Well, because someone decided that's a good idea. You can pause the game with the button, but if something happens like a game crash or a freak accident resulting in you crashing to desktop, you're gonna uninstall the game. It's not easy to gain a foothold and a good position for yourself in Broken Arrow, and when it finally happens, you can't save. Make a mistake and lose the advantage, and you're done. Either start over or go play World in Conflict instead. That's a big issue, and I hope it's fixed because I'd tried different tactics and some dangerous high-stake maneuvers, but I don't want to throw away 40 minutes I played already just because of no save button. Let's continue to skirmish, and another big problem for a single player minded people. In the early access period of 3 days, there was no 1v1 skirmish. Steel Balalaikas added it really quickly, but at the same time, the reason why no 1v1 skirmish wasn't included was obvious. The game, as of now, is not made for 1v1. It's made for multiple different decks to go at it and complement each other. While you can have a jack of all trades deck, it's just not as enjoyable as specializing and then coordinating with other fellow players. Now, if you want to play, for example, 3v3 against bot, you being the only human player, that is not possible either. Either you find some friends to play with, or you're out of luck. AI cannot be your ally, which again is a big thing in this kind of game, and it just seems Broken Arrow was shipped a bit too early. Because the balance itself is also not the best. Although that may be a bit of a controversial topic, but right now Russia is easier to play and win than USA. It's just how it is. Russian units can't and will be able to do multiple operations at once and are a bit more macro-oriented, while USA is more micro-oriented and the units are much more specialized, so you'll need to counter almost perfectly to beat the Russians, which against AI is a chore. For a good reason. The AI on any difficulty straight up cheats. They will see your units everywhere on the map and have perfectly executed attacks and counters. They will also be able to spend ludicrous amount of points on their army. I'm sorry, but when I hold 60% of checkpoints and the AI has 20 with 20 up for grabs, and they have more points to spend than I do, that's a problem. I don't want to play against cheaters. Please give me a fair battle. It may seem I'm emphasizing bad points of Broken Arrow, but the issues I'm highlighting are some of the most important in a game like this. Saving your game is a basic feature, and not wanting to play against a cheating AI is, I believe, a very grounded demand. But what about PvP? Well, if you're a PvP-oriented player, you'll have a lot of fun, because skill can actually make up for the fact that Russia is very slightly overpowered as of this review. The difference isn't much, so a good group of players working together can indeed overcome any challenge. The only problem in PvP right now is same as AI, that is, cheaters. Even though the game uses easy anti-cheat and does enforce the no-cheat rule, at least at the beginning you'll run into some of them. But this isn't a big problem right now, so the PvP currently is by far the best part of the game. It's good, and the huge selection of units makes for very diverse gameplay. At least until the meta is solved. Let's check graphics next. With the number of units came a daunting task for animators and artists to make them come to life, and they did a spectacular job. The units and the modification on them look great, and you'll be feeling as if you're actually commanding a real-life army, which is a great achievement. Maps look decent, good enough for you to know what's what, and you won't mistake a tree for a wooden house, for example. Explosions and fire are on the money, as they have to be in a wargame, otherwise where's the fun in blowing your opponent up? Missiles and kinetic rounds have a very nice trail, and overall graphics are really nice, so good job here for Steel Balalaikas.
Enemy formations are spotted.
Perfect. The Paris can't hold their own against tanks, so they'll need this support.
First off, voice acting is very out there. The US general sounds like a very stereotypical general from every old movie, and some of the other voice actors seem like they didn't really know what they were doing. And some of the other voice actors seem like they didn't really know what they were doing. War and weapon sounds are a different story. Everything seems to pack a punch. Launch and explosion sounds are realistic and complement the graphics very well, so overall, game sound is great. Music is good too, I do like the soundtrack a lot, so maybe I'll dredge through the mission without saving, just on the wings of music. Broken Arrow is a game with a lot of potential, and Steel Balalaikas did say they'll support this game for years to come, maybe even with new factions, but currently there are some problems which cannot be overlooked. There's very little support for single player enthusiasts, and the lack of saving your single player game is absolutely a horrid decision. The game is good, plays well, but then AI being godly is also a problem. There's a lot of people out there who need guidance and training in games like this, and they won't get it here. Just frustration and anger, and absolutely no improvement. On the other hand, PvP and people with friends can and will have a blast. So the decision to buy the game depends on which kind of player you are. If you like PvP and good coordinated tactics, then sure, go for it. If you like single player and saving your game, save your money for something else or try World in Conflict yet again. Alright, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't get drafted for World War III. Until next time, Goblin out. Bye!